There was some DV going on, and my partner at the time had some drug and alcohol issues. We had social services involved, and there was a real lack of support generally over, got across everything really. I was getting stressed out every day, and the meetings at the social services and stuff, yeah, it's pretty stressful. My understanding is that when Janet was matched with me, Kathy came in and did an assessment on me and my family, like me and my children, and they did the same with Janet. And I didn't actually speak to my family about what I was going through. So yeah, my understanding is that Kathy matched Janet with me because I needed that motherly role, that motherly figure that would just support me and be there for me. So I think Janet's such a kind person, and her whole persona, and she just radiates kindness. It didn't take long for me to warm to her, or my kids for that matter. It started off with just building up a relationship with her, building that trust. Trust is important. I needed to know that Janet wasn't going to go behind my back, because I just felt like everyone was coming at me, attacking me. So it was important for me to build that relationship with her. And it just started off with her popping around the house. We'd have a coffee, we'd have a chat about how things had been going that week or over the last couple of weeks. Helping me with any paperwork that I needed. And I think over time it just became very natural. We ended up talking about things that I like to do, because when you're in a thick of a DV relationship, you kind of forget who you are as a person and what your likes are and your dislikes. The goalpost is constantly changing. So Janet was helping me find myself again, and it was actually really nice because me and Janet had a lot of common interests. So we both like cross stitch. So we did a lot of cross stitch together, which was quite nice. And we'd go out for lunch and coffee, and just generally having someone there that I know that I can rely on. It made a massive difference, especially when I felt so isolated away from my friends and my family. So yeah, she's an angel. So as we were going through the journey, my children were both on the first stage of the social, I can't think what it's called now, and then they went up to child protection. So as it was coming down again, through all the support that I've had and the fact that I was engaging with all the external services, and I was finding myself again, and I was getting back in touch with my friends, and I was doing a lot of stuff with the children's centre. I did cooking and obviously taking the kids down there and stuff, and I just naturally found me and Janet were cancelling on each other because we had plans, and it came to a really nice natural end. And then after I stopped seeing Janet properly, although things were different, obviously I was a different person, but I felt that Janet gave me a sense of purpose. Like, she helped me regain my confidence and self-esteem again, and she pushed me to make a difference in my life and in my children's lives. So I went on to do some incredible things, and I still am all these years later. 8 years I've been free, and I wouldn't change the process for anyone.
No.
Grab it with both hands, and grab the bull by the horns, so they say. Quite literally work with them. It's not always easy. It's really difficult, especially when your trust has been destroyed to the point where you don't know who to talk to. But the volunteers, friends, family, they just want to support you and help you through these things. And I think if it wasn't for Janet being an advocate for me in my child protection meetings, school meetings, and helping me with just general everyday life stuff, I really don't know where my life would be right now. I really don't. And it may be different, I don't know, but I do think that Janet was a huge part of my journey. And I think for families, keep going, keep going, keep working with it. It's, like I said, it's not easy, but you'll get there eventually. And